My name is Joe Boyle. I'm the captain of District 6, and we want to welcome you to National Night Out in South Boston. We want to thank you for coming. We appreciate all the work you do with us throughout the year. We look forward to working with you through this new year. And I want to introduce Mayor Martin Walsh.
Thank you, Captain, and thank you, Senator, for that introduction, for that applause. Let me just start by thanking Captain Boyle and the Office of C6 for the great work they do in South Boston. I appreciate all their work, and tonight is a celebration of the community. Tonight is a celebration of organizations that do great work to make neighborhoods safe and make neighborhoods healthy. It's also a celebration of our policing and our community policing efforts that we're doing in the city of Boston, so I want to thank everyone for coming out. I wanted to take a minute to introduce a few people. I think we lost a few, but we gained some. Your state senator, Nick Collins, is here. Thank you, Senator Collins. Your city councilor, Eddie Flynn, is here. Thank you, Councilor. Your state city council citywide, Michael Flaherty's here. Your city council citywide from across the bridge, Anissa Asabi George is here. And I'd like to thank, we have a gentleman with us tonight who's been doing this for 25 straight years. He's our district attorney. He's announced his retirement. He's really working to make sure that instead of locking people up, how does he work to make sure programming to help people get on a pathway to success? That's Dan Conley. I think we have Sheriff Tompkins. Oh, here he is. And we have Sheriff Tompkins. He's in the house. That sounded good earlier. I want to thank the sheriff for his great work. I'm going to introduce the commissioner in a minute. I want to thank Chief Green from the MBTA Police. Thank you, Chief, for your great work. And I want to thank everyone who came tonight, who's here with us tonight. I just have a couple of quick updates to talk about. We're working on making sure that the crime stats in South Boston are going in the right direction. And last week we had a tragedy on L Street that there's been an incredible community response to. I want to thank the community. It was a horrible situation, what happened to the little boy. And you're seeing some changes on L Street. You're going to see some changes on Day Boulevard. You're going to see a lot more enforcement happening in the community to make sure that cars are going at the speed they're supposed to be going at. I would ask you to pass the word along to your neighbors and friends. Last week when the city did their study of L Street, 70% of the violators on L Street that were speeding and going fast were residents of the community. And I know Day Boulevard, we have a lot of people that don't live in the community that use it as a cut-through to get places, and they turn Day Boulevard into a highway, and it's not a highway. So we're going to continue to make the improvements. We're going to continue to make the changes out here. To date, we've added yield lanes and stop lanes. We're improving the lighting. We have additional parking restrictions. We have new signs and flex posts you'll see on the corner of a lot of streets. East 6th Street and L and East 7th and L have the signs, and the spaces that were lost. But it's important as cars come out of the stop at a stop sign, they can see left and right when they're moving out. We installed the radar signs that some were already there. We're going to be putting more in. And there's a community meeting going to be on Thursday night, so we're encouraging everyone to come out. What we're going to really be doing there is talking about some of the things what the next steps are in the city as far as transportation in South Boston. And then we're also going to be taking feedback from the community to any concerns that people might have. The meeting is Thursday at 6 o'clock, is it? At the 6 o'clock at the time. So if you can make it there, we'd love to have you there because it's important. It's an important conversation. I know that we're working forward here in Moakley Park. We're working on a study to look at Moakley Park and eventually reconstruct Moakley Park. So we're going to be working on that process. And when we begin that process, we'll let you know as well when that's going to happen. This week in Boston has also been a historic week in our city. I know in South Boston we had The police commissioner, Billy Evans, has been with me here for 5 years in a row, and a lot of people are proud of the great work he's done. And Billy Evans did an incredible job, not just in South Boston, but throughout the entire city of Boston as a police commissioner. He retired, then he went back to work. He's at Boston College, but I think the pace might be a little less for him over there. We'll see, but you'll still see him running the streets. And the person who's replacing Billy Evans is another outstanding commissioner, very similar to the story Billy Evans had. They both started as cadets on the Boston Police Department. Willie Gross became a police officer. He served in leadership positions in the Boston Police Department. He became the night commander. He became the chief of police with Commissioner Evans, and they both served for 5 years with distinction. They were honored by the President of the United States of America, President Obama, as far as the best community policing in the country right here in Boston. And then when Billy Evans retired, there really wasn't a decision to be made when you already have in front of you a person who understands the way the police department works, understands the importance of building relationships up in the community, the importance of transparency in the police department, all of that. It was an easy decision to make. I said this earlier today, you know, if you don't know Willie Gross, you just see him smiling. That's who he is as a person. But he also has the knowledge and understanding to be an incredible, and he will be an incredible police commissioner in the United States of America. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you the 42nd Police Commissioner of the City of Boston, Willie Gross.
Thank you, everyone. Let's give a hand to Mayor Walsh. He is also from the community. We go back a long way, and this man really believes in the community and the community that helped raise him. I'd just like to thank him for having the confidence to make me the 42nd Commissioner of the Boston Police Department. Like the mayor alluded to, I'm from a community that helped raise me, just like this community here. And what I love about Southie, I was over here when Dorchester became my permanent station. Southie didn't have one, so I patrolled Dorchester and Southie back and forth. So I know a lot. This is like my second home. And what I appreciate, the Southie community's always been strong, but wow, is it bigger and better, more diversified, and more welcoming for everybody, no matter where you come from. Southie strong. So give yourselves a hand. I'm going to tell you why I did the job, folks. If I wanted to change things. So if you want change, be the change. We must invest time in our youth. We must ensure them that we have our back. And let me tell you something. Not everybody hates the police. Sorry, news, but guess what? The communities love us too. And it gives me an opportunity to introduce you to the next president of the United States, and he told me, so introduce yourself. This is why we do the job. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Kamani James, and I am an ingoing sophomore this fall at Boston Land Academy. I came out to this event because when I heard a few weeks ago that Mr. Evans was stepping down as Boston Police Commissioner and that William Gross was stepping up, I was both, it felt like Obama all over again, let's just say. I am very, very, very grateful to be alive in this generation where we can see so much change in community and society and development in both children, our youth, adults, and the political and social stances that adults take. And I am very happy that Mr. Gross here will be our new Boston Police Commissioner. And I just want to say that I hope everyone votes for me when I do become the next president of the United States of America. So thank you.
All right, let's hear it for the next president. So just exactly what we were talking about, myself and the mayor talk about it all the time, as well as the elected officials right here behind you. This is the future. This is who we envision as being the leaders of our nation, that's going to be president for all the people. Now, I'd like to recognize my command staff that's here today and these fine officers. We are a part of the community. And one thing, we never forget who takes care of the community. All right? Justice, equality. And so we have District Attorney Dan Conley, who has done his 25th National Night Out, and he'll be leaving us soon. I'm going to tell you, he's not about just putting cuffs on. Some people have to be rehabilitated on the other side, but he's proactive as well. That's why young men like this, who have often done interns and been a part of Soccer for Peace, Basketball for Police and Peace, that's all with D.A. Conley. So we're going to bring him up next. Let's give him a hand, and give yourselves a hand. Thank you.
Thank you, Willie. Let's hear it for our new police commissioner, Willie Gross. Doing a great job. Come on, you're not a lawyer, right? Yet, anyways. All right, so we'll worry about you running for DA sometime soon, too. Thank you very much. As Commissioner Gross said, the mayor said, this is the 25th year for me for National Night Out. 8 as a city council from Hyde Park and Rosendale, and 17 now as the district attorney. And I've just seen such a transformation in Boston in the last 25 years. It really is amazing. And as the commissioner just said, you know, Southeast changed so much too, and you all know that, you who live here. When I was a brand new assistant DA at the age of 26, I met a guy who lived on East 5th Street. He invited me to move into his apartment with him. When I told my father that I was going to move from Hyde Park to Southie, he said, "What the heck is wrong with you?" Right? He didn't know what a great place Southie was, even though he'd been here, I'm sure, many times in his life. So I had a chance to live in Southie for a few years on East 5th Street with the Loftus family, and Southie was so welcoming to a kid from Hyde Park. Everything has changed, as you know, but probably for the better. You know, the community is thriving, it's safe, and it really is, as the commissioner said, one of the most diverse communities now in our city. So it's been an honor and a privilege to represent this wonderful city, all neighborhoods. Hyde Park, Rosendale, where I grew up, and then West Roxbury, where I live now, and of course South Boston. It's been an honor and a privilege. And you guys are really fortunate, not only by the citywide representation, but by these three guys, Eddie Flynn, Nick Collins, Michael Flaherty. Unbelievable representation here in South Boston. That's why this is one of the greatest neighborhoods in the city. So thank you for giving me the honor and privilege to serve for 25 years. Happy National Night Out. Now it's my pleasure and privilege to invite up to speak the guy who's going to really lift up this crowd, a guy who I work very closely with, our sheriff, Sheriff Steve Tompkins. Let's hear it.
Thank you, brother. Is Southie in the house? No. Let's try that one more time. Is Southie in the house? That's what I'm talking about. Listen, I won't be long, but what I do want to say is this. I love the diversity that I see here. We have young and we have old, well, young and seasoned, not old, men and women, black and white, brown and yellow. And it really is a good thing to see community coming together, working together, living together, and loving together. Our job is to make sure that you have the resources that you need to keep your family strong, to keep your community safe. And so it's my pleasure to ride along with these guys and ladies, to come out and say hello, and to wish you a happy National Night Out. Take care of yourself and enjoy the rest of your summer. Now, I think, which one of you? Captain Boyle. Coming to the microphone now is your captain, Captain Boyle!
Thank you.
There you go, brother.
Okay, we have some great community service awards. So we're going to ask, first of all, we're going to do our top Crime Watch Group of the Year, which is Mary Ellen McCormick Tenant Task Force. So if they could come up, come on up, Carol. Here we go. We'll give it to you. All right, you want to read it off? Yeah. Read it off.
All right, I just want to thank the Mary Ellen McCormick Task Force. I have a little write-up here. They've truly been partners with us over this last year. This year's Crime Watch Group of the Year is awarded to the Mary Ellen McCormick Task Force. This civic association primarily covers the McCormick housing development and the surrounding area. Over the past year, the neighborhood has dealt with several challenges, to include some violence and drug activity, as well as various quality of life issues caused by the homeless in the area. However, instead of simply complaining about the issues or passing blame, the task force, led by Executive Director Carol Sullivan, are quick to seek solutions. They have formed a working partnership with the Boston Police Department, the management at the Boston Housing Authority, and other stakeholders in their community. Whenever an issue arises, the task force communicates with Captain Boyle and the Community Service Office at District C6, as well as their other partners. All of the parties then work together to address the issue with constant communication back and forth until the problem is rectified. The task force takes a great sense of pride in their neighborhood and have been active in being a part of the solution to any negative issues affecting it. Because of their hard work and their sense of ownership and pride in their community, the Mary Ellen McCormick Task Force is awarded the District C6 Crime Watch Group of the Year.
Sergeant.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Awesome. Can I take a picture? Oh.
Did you want to say something?
Want me to get on the
Hi.
outside?
No, you're fine.
Congratulations.
Oh my goodness.
Nick, you can grab the mic.
No, that's all right. We'll keep it going. No, this is a citation.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Nick. It's a pleasure.
We'll get there. Listen, Mike.
Which one do you want to do next?
Okay, our second award is a Community Service Award. This is for Jennifer Becker. Jennifer, come on up.
All right, this was a really great job by Jennifer. I got to watch this incident on video too, and it was really amazing. But I'll read it now. About 5:37 p.m. on Wednesday, 11/8/2017, Jennifer Becker was waiting in line at the PLS check cashing located at 1284 Mass Ave in Dorchester when she noticed a male customer next to her had passed a note to the teller, began to bang impatiently on the counter, and announced to the teller, "This is a robbery," and to hurry up. Miss Becker reacted by retrieving pepper spray from her purse and sprayed the suspect in the face. The suspect then ran towards the door. Miss Becker followed the suspect and again sprayed him with the pepper spray. At this point, the suspect dropped a large knife that he had been holding and fled out the door. Boston police officers arrived shortly thereafter in response to a radio call for an armed robbery in progress. Officers located the suspect hiding behind a vehicle a short distance from the scene. Officers observed the suspect's face to be red and swollen and could smell pepper spray as they approached him. Subsequently, Ms. Becker and other witnesses from the scene made a positive identification of the suspect. The suspect was taken into custody and charged with armed robbery. Jennifer Becker displayed amazing bravery and courage during this incident. She put her own safety at risk in order to stop an armed suspect from committing a robbery and possibly carrying out more violence. Due to the selfless and heroic actions of Jennifer Becker, a violent crime was interrupted and multiple innocent bystanders were spared from possible harm. Jennifer Becker displayed an extraordinary level of courage and dedication to the safety of the citizens of the city of Boston.
And this is our final award. This is for 2 Longwood security officers who do a great job every day. Come on up, guys.
So Longwood officers have worked great with the officers from our district, both in the Old Colony development and over in Harbor Point. About 7 o'clock p.m. on 4/20/2018, officers from Boston Police District C6 were at 53 Burke Street in South Boston responding to a radio call for a domestic disturbance. Officers were being assisted by Special Officers Apostolidis and DeLeo from Longwood Security. While handling their call, officers heard a loud commotion coming from the area of 45 Burke Street. Officers responded to the area and observed a male pushing a female and then pinning the female up against a fence. When the officers approached, the male suspect began to swear and yell at the officers, telling them to mind their own business. The suspect then turned towards the officers in a combative stance while flailing his arms and continuing to swear at the officers. The officers informed the suspect that he was going to be placed under arrest. The suspect violently resisted officers' attempt to place him under arrest, kicking his feet and pinning his arms under his body. Several more officers responded, and after a violent struggle, the suspect was eventually taken into custody. When the suspect became aggressive towards the officers, Special Officers Apostolidis and DeLeo immediately reacted to assist the police officers. During the struggle, Special Officer Apostolidis sustained an injury to his left wrist due to the suspect's violent resistance and assaultive behavior. Special Police Officer Apostolidis was subsequently transported via ambulance for further treatment. The suspect was charged with domestic assault and battery 209A, assault and battery on a police officer, and resisting arrest. Christos Apostolidis and Christopher DeLeo displayed amazing bravery and selflessness during this incident. When they observed a violent suspect turn his aggression towards the responding officers and forcibly resist their attempts to place him into custody, they immediately came to the aid of the officers. Officers Apostolidis and DeLeo put their own safety at risk in order to assist in the arrest of a violent suspect who had previously assaulted a female and was actively assaulting the officers who were attempting to place him under arrest. The actions of Officers Apostolidis and DeLeo are a testament to their courage and dedication to the residents of the city of Boston.
I just want to give a quick introduction to our Commissioner for Disabilities in the City of Boston, doing an incredible job at making sure people have access in every single possible way. From South Boston, Kristen McCosh. Thank you, Kristen. Huh? And Gina Fandaka, the Boston Transportation Commissioner, is here as well. Thank you, Gina. We also got Father Conley and Father Connor. Thank you guys for being with us, keeping us safe these last few days. And I want to introduce, so I'm going to go into now, John McGann from the Gavin House. Thank you, John. And David Beal, a candidate for state representative in South Boston.